How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the greatest Raiders podcast in the world. This is the Raiders Daily. My name is Steven Michaels. I know I have not done a show in, 2 weeks? 3 weeks? I've had some stuff go on, which I don't want to make anyone sad about. So we're not going to talk about that because it's sad. And guess what? There's no reason to be sad, especially when the Raiders have done it. They have won the Stephen Bowl, the Super Bowl. They've beaten the New England Patriots 30-24 in a game that I circled at the beginning of the season. That was my Super Bowl. And it was also Josh McDaniels' Super Bowl. Let's not pretend here. The Raiders do it in a bizarre, fantastic way. What a finish. Chandler Jones picks off a backwards pass. I don't know what the Patriots were trying to do there in that last play, but Chandler Jones, he starts the play by getting thrown to the ground. Then he's just standing there, and I believe it was Jacoby Myers, I believe it was him, throws it behind him, and Chandler Jones just picks it off, puts Mac Jones right on his ass, runs it in, touchdown. No seconds left on the clock. That's something that only usually happens to the Raiders. This time, the Raiders catch a break. Before that, Derek Carr drives the ball down the field, throws to Keelan Cole for a touchdown. Uh-oh, guess what? Might not be a touchdown. Looks like his foot is out. Typical, stuff that happens to the Raiders. They're going to take it back and Raiders are going to lose. Not this time. The Raiders would not be denied this time as they say touchdown, and then from there the Chandler Jones touchdown. The Raiders with another walk-off. They win 30-24 in a game that was not pretty by any means. And now, since I haven't had a show in a couple of weeks, let's just talk about it here. The Raiders pretty much blew their season against Baker Mayfield, who was on a team for 24 hours with the Rams. That was disgusting and embarrassing. So the Raiders are kind of out of the playoffs right now, unless some kind of miracle happens. But I don't think that's going to they would need a lot of help. They would need the Jets to lose. They would need Miami to lose pretty much at 2 games. They would need so much help. That Rams game was just a killer. But this game, that's why this is a Super Bowl. Because who cares about the playoffs? It's probably not going to happen. But the Raiders had to beat the Patriots. Remember, the Patriots took away your dynasty. If that Tuck rule never happens, I guarantee you, John Gruden never gets traded. The Raiders go on to win a Super Bowl. They probably go on to win again the following year. They at least win 2 Super Bowls in that time period. I guarantee you. So ever since that game, the Raiders have sucked. This was a game I really feel like is the turnaround for the New England Patriots. This is the game that showed everyone the Patriots are on a downward spiral. And that the Raiders, somehow, some way, it's not going to be this season, but the future is bright in Las Vegas, and I believe the Raiders will get back on track eventually. It might not happen, like I said. It might not happen next year, but it's going to happen. There is no doubt in my mind it will happen eventually. So anyways, let's talk about this game real quick, this New England Patriots game. Like I said, not a pretty win by any means. The Raiders had so many penalties in this game. It was just unbelievable. 13 penalties, 90 yards. Derek Carr was not very good in this game at all. He had the drive at the end, but other than that, he threw an interception. They were out of sync, especially, in the second half. You got to remember, the Raiders, at one point, they were leading this game 14-3, and they blew another lead, something that, listen, the Raiders have blown more leads than any other team in football history already, and it looked like they were about to blow this one too. They could not tackle Stevenson, the Patriots running back, which was just, I don't know why. This team is pretty good at tackling the running back, right? That really has not been the issue for the Raiders this season, is stopping the run, but They had a hard time stopping the run in this game, I'll tell you that much. But this guy ran for, I believe, 170 yards or something like that. But the biggest takeaway, before we talk about how bad the Raiders were, is remember, the Raiders won time of possession. And usually, when the Raiders win time of possession, they win the football game. I mean, that's just the way it goes for the Raiders. And they are also 2 for 2 in the red zone. And as you know, that's always been a problem for the Raiders, is the red zone. So, I mean, when things go right, when this team executes, they can beat any team. And they also had Darren Waller out there. They had Hunter Renfrow out there. They were both on pitch counts. But still, having everyone healthy, having all these weapons out there, there's really no reason Derek Carr should fail with all those weapons. There isn't. There's no reason at all. But yeah, so the Raiders, I mean, like I said, they blew a big lead. Things weren't looking good, but they get the victory. They get the victory, and that's all that really matters here. And this is a game, like I said, they had to win. They had to win because it was looking so bad at the end. I mean, the Raiders just, the second half, all they did is just punt the football until the end. Until, a minute and 39 seconds? They score that touchdown. They go 9 plays, 81 yards. And then, of course, the Chandler Jones, I guess they're calling it a fumble. But, he gets that fumble, or, yeah, I guess it's a fumble. And then puts Mac Jones on his ass, runs for the touchdown. How great was that? Next up, obviously, is the Steelers. The Raiders got to go to East Coast. I wouldn't be banking on the Raiders to win that game, to be honest with you, because last time they went on the East Coast, they stayed there for 2 weeks and they lost both games, and it did not matter. So I just would not put any hope into that game. And to be completely honest with you, I don't really care. The only game I cared about was this game. So if the Raiders lose against the Steelers, don't worry about it, guys. They won the Super Bowl. They beat the Patriots. That is the game I want you to remember for the rest of the season. That was the big one. And then at the end of the year, when they play the Kansas City Chiefs, that can be another one. It's probably going to be meaningless. It might mean something for the Chiefs, though. So we'll see what happens. And I think that will also be a big game, by the way. We'll talk about it right now for Derek Carr. The Raiders have not made a decision on Derek Carr. Are they going to keep Derek Carr? Or are they going to... Remember, they can cut him loose. They have a little window right after the Super Bowl to cut him loose and not pay him. And if they do that, the Raiders, in my opinion, would just go out and get a veteran quarterback that Josh McDaniels knows. Hell, who knows? Mac Jones is not happy in New England. He played under Josh McDaniels. Maybe there's some kind of trade that happens. You just never know. I can tell you one thing, though. Derek Carr's been the quarterback for the Raiders for 9 years. And, what are we doing here? We got 1 playoff appearance, 0 playoff wins, and it's like every year. And I don't want to hear about, he's in a new system anymore. Baker Mayfield was on a team for 2 days and beat the Raiders. So no, let's throw that out the window. You can't use that as an excuse anymore. To all the diehard Derek Carr fans that do not care about winning, you cannot use that as an excuse when you just watch the guy in Baker Mayfield be on a team for 48 hours and beat you. I mean, you just can't. So something's got to be done here. Either the Raiders in the offseason, if they keep Derek Carr, they have to load up on that defense, because that secondary is a problem. It really is. They got to get defensive tackles. They got to get secondary. They got to get line. They got to get a whole bunch of things going on that defense. They got to get quarterback pressure. I mean, they got to fix that defense. I mean, I would get a new defensive coordinator, to be honest with you. I think Patrick Graham is awful. I think he's absolutely awful. I really do. But we'll see what happens. We don't know, and we still got a couple of games left. And so we'll see how Derek Carr plays the rest of the way. Maybe he plays great. Hey, who knows? No one really knows. Maybe a miracle does happen. Maybe the Raiders run the table, Miami loses, the Jets lose, and somehow the Raiders sneak into the playoffs and win a playoff game. If that happens, I think Derek Carr stays no matter what. But, like I said, that would literally be a miracle. A miracle. But right now, I'm not worried about that because it's celebration week, guys. I know the Steelers game's coming up. I get it. But we know Derek Carr sucks on the East Coast, especially early games. This team has sucked playing early games on the East Coast. So I'm not getting my hopes up for that game. I'm really not. And I'm just going to enjoy this victory right here against the New England Patriots, who have the worst fan base in all of professional sports. I'm telling you, I live here. These people suck. When the Patriots lose, they jumped right on Tampa Bay's bandwagon. There was no such thing as a diehard Patriots fan before this team won a Super Bowl. They're not like you guys. You guys will root for your team if they're 0-10. You are committed. Nah, not these posers. These people are pansies. They're posers. And the Raiders needed this revenge, and they got it. They've been screwed by the Patriots way too much. Remember Derek Carr's rookie year? They got screwed. They run the ball in the end zone, and they call a holding call against the Raiders. And then Derek Carr throws an interception. But they got screwed. The Tuck rule really screwed them. So I love it now that the Patriot fans are, all 12 of them, are crying, well, we got screwed. That wasn't a touchdown. Really? Well, guess what? There was no clear evidence. And it was the ruling on the field. How do you like that? How do you like that? The Raiders win 30-24. Wasn't pretty. Josh Jacobs, he didn't go over 100, but he's still balling out. The Raiders got to pay that man. They got to pay that dude. And hopefully he stays healthy after they pay him. Because they paid Darren Waller, and this guy hasn't showed up all season. He did show up for this game finally. He's finally back playing. Hopefully he plays the rest of the season, because we didn't really get to see this guy at all. And Hunter Renfrow has been out as well. So, they paid two guys that you pretty much did not get to see all year long. So we will see what happens against the Steelers game. Don't get too excited. You already won the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Don't get too excited. Just take it game by game. And who knows, right? You just see if things fall into place, really. And as far as Derek Carr's future, again, who knows? If this is his last ride, I hope he does win out and win these games. Because something's got to change. Because I want this team to be a consistent winner. Trust me, I am very happy about this victory, but I want this team to win all the time. I want this team to be a playoff team every year. Now, Josh McDaniels, he still scares me. I mean, he gets a lead, and it seems like he does not know how to hold on to a lead. Like I said, the Raiders, they have blown more leads than any team in NFL history. That's crazy. I think they're up to 4 now. This would have been the 5th one. Double-digit leads when they're up by 10. There are games when they were up 20-3. Come on. He does not know how to finish games. He doesn't have that killer instinct. It's just... So, hopefully that guy, because it seems like Mark Davis is going to keep him, right? That's what it feels like. If he's going to keep him, that guy has got to get better. He has to. And the defense has to get better. This offseason has to get better for the Raiders. It's going to be a fun off season, guys, and I will be here to talk to you guys throughout the off season. Every time something fun happens, cool happens, transactions that are worth talking about, and things like that. If you want to support the show, you can on Venmo. It's at the Raiders Daily. Cash App is just Raiders Daily, no "the" in it. And yeah, that's it. Support the show so I can actually do more of these shows. And I will see you guys later. My name is Stephen Michaels. This is the Raiders Daily Podcast.